I'm Mike Devine. I'm the director of the Harry S. Truman Presidential Library. We are, of course, celebrating our 50th anniversary as a presidential library this year, and that's what brings my colleagues here to help us celebrate. So I'm honored that they would come here to Independence to be with us on this occasion. We've had business meetings this morning. We'll have some more business meetings this afternoon, but we're also taking out a little time for this program and other celebrations later today and tomorrow. My favorite artifact is an automobile, actually two automobiles. And this is the bill of sale from the purchase that Harry Truman made in November of 1940 of two Chrysler automobiles. One was a four-door sedan that was used by his wife, Bess, and the other was a two-door coupe that Harry drove himself. The automobiles were purchased just a couple weeks after Harry Truman won re-election to the United States Senate. Truman was never a wealthy man by any means. He always worked hard for his living. The Senate salary wasn't that great, but certainly having won an election, he knew he had a steady job for the next 6 years, and so he must have felt pretty good about himself and went out and purchased these two automobiles. Some 4 decades later, both automobiles came into our possession. This is the coupe at the time we received it. You could see it needed a little work by that time. It had a tough life, had a few dings and scrapes, I think, from Harry's driving. Bess was a little bit better driver than Harry. He had a reputation of taking corners a little bit too wide and sometimes bumping into curbs. In fact, in the Truman home, in the garage at the home, he had a big old freezer that no longer worked, and the front end of the freezer was dented in. And that's how he would park his car. He'd just bring his, not only these Chrysler, but then later he bought other cars. He just kind of let the car roll forward until it banged into that freezer, and then he knew he had gone far enough. Another shot of the car needing some work. As you can see, it was in pretty bad condition. But because of the Daimler Chrysler Corporation, they restored both cars to mint condition. They replaced missing parts with all new parts. This is how the vehicles look today. They're both on display in our galleries on the lower level. We're delighted to have these cars because they show Truman's personality. He was frugal, but yet he did enjoy a little luxury once in a while, like going out and buying a new car for himself and his wife. He took meticulous care of the cars, despite the picture you just saw of the bad shape it was in 4 days later, or 4 decades later. 4 decades later, he changed the oil every 1,000 miles, and had a neighborhood kid take it for a vacuum and a wash once a week, whether it needed it or not. So the cars, at least during Truman's time of ownership, were kept in meticulous condition, and I think that showed some of his farm background. You know, farmers take great care of their equipment because they know how dependent they are on their equipment working properly, and these cars show that too. We have complete records. We have Truman's driver's license, and we have this little booklet that he got from one of the oil companies, where he wrote down the amount of gallons of gas he purchased. Every time he purchased gasoline, he would write down the amount he purchased and the mileage. So he kept this record throughout his ownership of his vehicles. So that's my favorite thing. Thank you.